Hello and welcome to this presentation. My name is Lee Snyder, the product manager for the steel segment here at Tekla Inc. This is part 2 of our IFC workflows that I'm showing. The first one that we showed was just if you were a detailer or a fabricator internally, you wanted to use the IFC file format to track changes between your model, maybe from one revision to another, or between different design changes, to get a report out to keep track of everything. That's what we covered there. This workflow 2 would be more of a traditional route where if an engineer in a different software created a 3D model and they sent you an IFC file, how you can use that to speed up the project or incorporate that into your workflow. So what we'll do, here's the first thing that I want to do is that once I receive an IFC file, I want to come in and insert it into the model. So I'm just going to come up here, browse to wherever the IFC file was, and it'll be here, the design that they sent me that has no connections. So I can give this a group, so we can just say, let's call that there, and then insert this wherever I would want. I'm just going to insert it wherever it was initially created. So I'll just click on Add Model. And then what that will do is it will take the IFC file, insert it directly into the model, and then I'll be able to come in and start using that. So my visibility, I'm just going to turn on my reference models here. All right. And then here, this is just the IFC file that they sent over. So in this particular workflow, I want to use this IFC file to begin my model. So the nice thing about IFC files is that there's a lot of intelligent information embedded into the file that allows us, Tekla, to come in and convert these members into native objects, just as if you had taken the time to manually model them yourself. So you can come in and you can adjust any settings that you may want. In this particular case, we're not going to do that. I'm just going to come in here and click on Convert. It's going to tell me what the initial profile was and what the profile was that it converted it to. And then here I have a list of everything that I can come in and just check. So right now, what I'll do is just come back, and just for the time being, I'm just going to hide that initial IFC file. And then here are my native members, just as if I had modeled them. So here I have my beams, my HSS members, my pad footings, my columns, all that sort of stuff. So now what I can do is I can go in and I can begin connecting this model, just following normal detailing workflows. So if I wanted to come in, for example, here we can put in some of these double-sided clip angle connections, just doing just a normal connection and detailing that I would. You can do this manually. You can come in and run auto connections, whatever you would want. I'm just going to put in just a couple of these and then run the auto connections. But it's just converting the IFC files a way for me to get a jump start on the project to where I don't have to spend the time to go in and model that. What I can also do, just to let's put that in a little better. There we go. What I can also do is just to verify that everything came in correctly or that was oriented correctly, is that if I come back in here and turn on this IFC file and just overlay it on top of these members, maybe I can just spot check some of these WTs just to make sure that they're not flipped or rotated. I can also come in and check the channels and that sort of thing. If you do notice any issues there, it'll stand out here, and then you can go through and correct that as needed. So just threw in just a few connections. Let's go in here and just run our auto connections now. There we go. Have connections there that are now added into the model. We could also go through, obviously, and apply the base plates and that sort of thing. But let's say that you're going through, you're connecting the model, and then they send you a new or a revised IFC file, and you want to be able to incorporate those back into the model. Well, we can do that using this IFC change management tool. So I'm just going to go ahead and launch, again, this extension. I'm going to create a new comparison, and then back here under the IFC file, we're going to take a look at this design connection where they had no connections, and then we'll take a look at this revision 1, and then I'll just click on compare. And what it'll do is it will go through and it will insert those two into the model, and then it's going to give me again a report showing me what's new, what's deleted, and what's been modified. And I have just this little text report. I also have this user interface that will show me this information as well. So highlighted here within the model, I can easily see what's new, what's modified, and then what's been deleted. Now the nice thing is that I can use this to help update my model. So for example, if I wanted to come in here and create just a new view of the model, and I didn't want to see any, let's say that I only wanted to see just my reference objects just to make things easier to work with. So I'll just go ahead and toggle those on, I'll hide everything else, and I'll just tile these vertically so now I can see them overlaid here. Even in this view, if I wanted just to make it even more clear, I could come in and just hide the reference objects in that view. So here's all of my native stuff, and then here's my compared IFC files. So back to this tool, we'll notice here that these vertical braces right here have been deleted. So if I came in, as well as this channel, this one up here, so what I can do is I can just come in and select these, and then if I agree or want to commit those changes to the model, I can just select them and then click this button down here, Update Native Parts. And what that does, is you can see over here, is that it totally just deletes and removes those from the model. And then I get a status or a track here, and where here I can come in and just say that these have been approved, just for status tracking. Now the other thing that I can do is I can come in here and I can say, all right, look, there's new members that have been added, and let's say that I come in here and I want to incorporate those or add those into the model. Well, here if I come in and click on Update Native Objects, you'll see that it gives me this red note here saying Use IFC Object Converter. So I can't make changes to the model because these objects don't exist yet in the model. So down here it says native parts updated, adding new native parts isn't possible. Please use the IFC Object Converter. So here, just like we did initially when we created that, I can just come in here and launch this tool, click on Convert, and then it shows me that those have been converted and those are now part of my model. All right. Next thing that we can do for this modified stuff is here I have this channel that's been modified, and the only thing that changes is it just shifted positions. So if I come down here and click Update Native Member, you'll see that it's been partially updated. So if there was any geometry changes made to it, then those would be made. But you'll notice that this tool isn't going to come in and shift this piece over. All right, it's just going to change the profile. It can adjust some of the geometry, but it's not going to move it. So you would need to go in and manually move that or adjust that to match the position. All right. The next thing that we can do here is if we take a look at this beam, let me just rotate this view around. All right. So what I'm also going to do is let's rotate this around so you can see how all this is working together. So here I have this beam. I have this beam in the model. I have the connection that's applied to it. There, as you can see, if I shift this over, it's the shear plate and the bolts and everything's being cut back. And then this beam went from a 21 by 44 to a 27 by 84. So I want to come in and adjust the size of that particular beam. So I can just highlight this here, click on Update Native Members. It's going to make that larger, and since I have connections applied, this connection's automatically going to update to match the new size. So there I have 4 bolts. When I then redo, now I have the 5 bolts because it's using the parametrics of that component to update that particular component. So now I have that all taken care of, and I can come in and I can status these and give these any status that I may want. So maybe I'll just say these are postponed because I'm going to come back and add any changes, and then this one has been approved, but maybe I want to go in and review it just to get all the status. And then once I've made those changes, if I want, I can come in and I can export all of this information. So let's just call this report 1, click on save. It will go through and launch the report so that I can view it. So let's just go ahead and continue there. And now here I can have a report of the new stuff, the modified stuff, and the deleted information just for my records. So just zooming out on both of these, so just to review, this is if you received a model from the engineer, you inserted it, converted it to native members, went through and added your connections, and then incorporated a design change through an updated model. Now the key to all this is that the IFC files are created from the same parent objects. The way that this works is by using the GUIDs. So when an IFC file is created, there's a GUID stored to that particular object. Then when we insert and convert objects in the model, those are also assigned a new GUID, a Tekla GUID, with the IFC GUID linked to that. And that's the bridge between the two of how we're able to identify what's new, what's added, what's been deleted, and track any of the changes throughout this particular process.